It's always a good question from what we should start our podcast. I guess I can say hi. Hi the second time.
Yes, and exactly.
Is after the first one you became famous even more in aviation world?
Not that much,
Not that
but
much.
it was a first try, and it was good to present you actually to our audience. So, anyways, how are you feeling so far in aviation industry?
That was a lot actually from the last conversation that we had. Well, I knew something, but actually all the tips and everything what you said about aviation on the first podcast, I guess during the time I could experience it more and more and more. I still didn't receive any cake as well. If you remember, we were talking about of all that job that basically Aerviva sometimes putting for the pilots or for the clients. And sometimes we are sitting and thinking, maybe we could have some cake, like appreciation of our work. But I'm kidding. Of course, I just maybe realized how interesting is the aviation world, not only as a traveler, not only as a CEO of Aerviva, but basically how many small things is happening during the recruitment process, all the force majeures, and at the same time, I kind of start to realize how challenging the times of aviation is coming. We talked the first time about all the shortage, about looking for the professionals. But maybe this is a good start even for this podcast, that the last time we didn't talk too much. Have you noticed what kind of trends right now is in aviation recruitment at the moment?
Well, even though some pilots in certain regions might not agree with that, but we're still experiencing the shortage of aviation professionals. And I'm not speaking just about the pilots. In recent Paris Air Show, CAE revealed that there will be over 1.3, if I'm not mistaken, million lack of aviation professionals in the up till 2034. So we are speaking about quite huge window of opportunity for recruitment business, but also for people to enter aviation industry. So actually, I would like to reverse the question. Do you feel that there is a shortage from the inquiries because you are now heavily involved in business development of the Aerviva?
I am, and I'm maybe surprised that some of the clients which I reached a couple months ago, and they were saying, no, everything is fine, we are doing really good. Then I'm following aviation news, and I'm seeing that one is the companies looking for the pilots or first officers. They are coming back to us and saying, excuse me, you reached us a couple months ago, maybe we need a bit of help from you. And at the same time, what is the common answer from new clients or new airlines? That we have our own recruitment team and we are looking for the pilots. But after a while, they realize that it's not enough that you have a team inside and you need to look for the pilots in all around the world. If they are counting in the report that this is a more than 1.5, you said, right?
Yes.
And it's not only the pilot, we're talking about the cabin crew as well, everyone.
Everyone and air traffic controllers inclusively, so it's not limited to flight or cabin crew or engineering professionals. We're speaking about the aviation industry as a whole, so it's like a snowball effect. When you speak about aviation, you speak about all the supporting professions that are involved in this industry. So yeah, we actually might be needing to even expand our own knowledge to support the growth of this industry, and not only supporting flight, cabin crew, and engineering, but also looking into other professions.
I would say that I was even surprised. Not surprised, but I heard those news because for me it was new idea that they thinking in the future to basically leave only one pilot in a cockpit. I know this is not a new idea, but basically that indicates how bad it is. To be honest, it is bad. That this is a lack of the people who choose this profession and who want to fly the planes. And I don't get it. What is the problem? Why people are not choosing this profession? Why people are not coming, knowing, okay, romantic side of this profession, and to be honest, very good salaries. But this is not the things that would attract people to choose a profession of pilots. And actually, I don't know what they will be doing, what the airlines will be doing in the future. I'm very happy that in Aerviva, we have our database, we have a lot of partners, and we still can help for the clients, but this is not the easiest time at the moment.
Well, all these parts, all these factors are only the top of the iceberg, because of course there is financial factor involved, because it's not that cheap to enter the profession of piloting, but it's becoming actually slightly more affordable, because there are apprenticeship sponsorships, and airlines, knowing that they're going to be struggling in the future, are looking more into the internal training programs, partnerships with training organizations, so that you are growing your own personnel internally. And of course, there is an investment part, of course, and probably not every airline can afford it as well. Nonetheless, long-term planning is the key here. So you need to invest now and look into the future, not to be drowned in this personnel shortage.
For sure, I think both sides needs to think that investigation that you are doing right now will come back in the future. And I was thinking, it's a very good time for us, because the shortage is huge. But if there is no professional who are coming here and who are choosing this path, then it's not easy. But I'm pretty sure that in the next couple of years, we will see a lot of changes in some regulations. I think we will see some changes, as you said in the beginning, or cooperation between the people or the future pilots and some airlines, to make it easier in the beginning to get this profession. For a couple of weeks, or let's say I try to understand in the beginning, do you have idea what we call the successful recruitment project? What is for Aerviva or for recruiter? I understand that if the person got the job, this is like the main goal, right? But it includes a lot of small details on the way as well. So what you are thinking about, what is the successful recruitment project?
In short, the answer is quite straightforward, as you mentioned yourself. So you are onboarding sufficient amount of aviation professionals for the client in the set deadlines. Nonetheless, also there are involved consequential factors in this as well. So what is the retention rate? Is the candidate leaving the company within first month, 2 months, half a year, or he or she is there for years? How client is satisfied with the performance of the profile that he is getting, of the candidate that he is getting, because also that we need to take a step back again and look how the recruitment is done itself, and this is the cooperation of all parties. This is the clear instructions from the client, their expectations, and of course the substantial part of the recruitment company that should have global outreach. Of course, the global outreach, especially in current times when you need to look into diversity and inclusion. That's one of the key parts, and also it's important to attract different profiles again. Routes are global, so you need it's not that much felt probably at piloting side, but more on the cabin crew side, because cabin crew is usually taken into consideration for the routes where the aircraft is flying and what nationalities even on board, so that they can accommodate more the passengers. So again, requirements, clear understanding of the technicalities, also CRM, and also from the client, when we're speaking about the client and airlines in particular, how smooth the process then is when the candidate is handed over to them. So we're speaking, we should receive, as a recruitment company, we should receive quite timely feedback. Is the candidate okay? Is the documentation at their end is fine, even though we are screening the documents? Also, what about soft skills? Are you going to do the interview, or we should do the interview? So some clients might skip the soft skill test. However, it will kick you back at the later stage, because then it's tied up with the retention and the satisfaction from the client side and from the candidate side. Basically, we are then speaking about the culture. Is the pilot himself or herself looked into the culture of the airline, whether the values gonna match, whether the even the work-life balance gonna match the expectations, so that there are no misconception or misthought between the involved parties.
Basically, like in a marriage or relationship, the communication is the key factor. As I realized being here in Aerviva, we have very different clients, and one of the clients is who's responding and giving a feedback really fast. Some of them, I don't know why, maybe based on the culture of the company or just the human reason, keeping us in some quiet space for a while and then giving the answer, which basically not helping us to find it faster, because each client, as usual, when you are asking when do you need a professional, they're saying yesterday. So they want to be like really fast, some solutions. But I'm always like in the beginning now in the conversation with the clients, always saying that please dedicate a person who will answer all the questions, because it's very necessary, especially in this time when you are basically fishing for each professional who is coming. Do you have like lately experience of surprising clients who was maybe communicating and I don't know, then was gone, or for example was not communicating that you wish from the beginning?
Well, there are cases here and now, here and then, so it's unfortunately quite repetitive. So I would say it's a lack of homework from the airline side.
Exactly. I want to say that the homework is the crucial thing.
Exactly, because we cannot get into the operational matters or know completely every detail. And sometimes pilots do need to know every detail, because, of course, they're entering into the work that they're going to take maybe even 90% of their life and time. So it's important that airline understands that and provides the key person to communicate, to address the questions. Of course, we learn during the recruitment process, sometimes questions are repetitive, it's fine. However, it's a key also for the person to understand, can he move on or not? Because even though there is a shortage in specific regions, we skipped that topic, but of course we speak more about the shortage right now in Asia, Pacific and Americas rather than in Europe and Middle East, but it's felt there as well. So once again, about the candidates, it's important to communicate. It's important to communicate. Even if airlines training department is waiting for decision of chief pilot, just let us know. Just let know your candidate that they would not be in this gray area of not knowing can they move on or not. Also, it can bounce back that airline might be counting on that candidate, but because he's not receiving enough updates, he will just choose another company to proceed with. Just because of effective communication.
I think that if you would say that what is the key information that the pilot look for usually, is there is something like, it's always like what is the salary or something more?
Let's say there is a basic layer, and then there are deeper layers. When the first layer is passed, then they look into other factors. Usually, of course, they look into the name of the company, because they want to see the the future employer branding, the reputation of the airline, whether they were involved in past PR unfavorable cases or any other matters that might negatively affect the brand of their airline they're going to be flying for. Then they are, of course, looking at the location. Natural for any actually profession person should understand which country he wants to be based in. Of course, financial package. That's also maybe not very detailed one, but at least to understand how much he or she going to be learning or earning in the upcoming workspace. And then with these first layers, then there are more questions. So natural question: when the sim going to happen, where it's going to happen, if airline going to cover the cost of traveling for the sim assessment or not, then how fast the onboarding going to happen after the assessment. Other technical stuff. Basically, everyone wants to know how fast the job gonna commence after all.
I guess I just want to add on top of this that sometimes airlines has this too big expectation. The same like, you're buying a car. You want to have it red, fast, but on the eco driving, not spending too much money on it and taking like a really good care of it. So what I noticed that sometimes requirements for the pilots in the beginning of the project is very high, and then after a while, based on this shortage that we are feeling in recruitment, they realize that okay, you need to look for the blue car maybe sometimes, and maybe it will be not so fast, because at the moment in this world, red and fast car, those people exist, but another airline, if she will provide enough information, if she will do a good homework, she will just take this professional. And your lack of communication or lack of info, let's say, for the pilot will cost you a good professional. So I'm always reminding, like, do a good homework, prepare yourself, inform us, stay in a communication, and we are promised that we will find the best candidate which is possible.
I would also add that some clients are not willing quite expose the conditions that going to be having in the contracts with the pilots.
Why?
There might be their own reasons for that. Maybe they don't want, actually, it might not be the negative reasons, but maybe they don't want to expose for the competitors to know in very detail. I mean, I'm not seeing a very, evil plans in that way. Nonetheless, there is another side of the coin. The pilot will not know as well. What are the details? So basically, then we might face the situation when the pilot passes the sim assessment or the interview, and he's like great candidate for the airline. But once full terms and conditions are exposed, it does not stick to him, and then he leaves. So it's a lost time for completely every party, and there is lost time and money for that. So also, there should be a fine line between not exposing sensitive topics, that's fine, but also giving enough and sufficient information for the candidate so that he or she understands what kind of work should be expected, and the roster patterns and perks and locations, anything else relevant for that.
Okay, we talked a bit about airline, but we need to talk about candidates a bit as well, because I'm pretty sure that, well, what I noticed that aviation professionals sometimes ignoring some requirements, and they are still sending their CV, thinking that if we are looking a specific specialist in some position, which I don't know, needs to have some specific certificate, and the professional doesn't have that, but he's still sending his CV, thinking that maybe somehow I will go through. What kind of mistakes the candidates usually are doing?
Well, I mean, technical requirements cannot be bypassed that easy. So it's even if the candidate not relevant for the position applies, I mean, he drops out immediately. Of course, there are automatic tools for that, as we are using. Like if certain part of questionnaire is not green lighted from our side, sorry, but you are not passing immediately. Then we're looking deeper into the references and all the part of the soft skills and other matters. For sure, the first stage, not all skills can be checked. There are different tools for that. But also, what I was speaking earlier, the lack of homework on the candidate's side about the future employer or client of his is the drawback as well. So not caring where the airline is operating, what's the brand, what's the culture of the airline, will be the main drawback later on for the candidate himself. And that would be very basic, I would say, points for that.
I'm seeing this report numbers, and I see like 267,000 pilots. This is the period from now to 2034. 347,000 aircraft maintenance technicians, almost 700,000 cabin crew, and 71,000 traffic controllers. Do you think that the salaries will be increasing to attract more people here in this aviation? Or just as we talked before, the help in the beginning might change, because this is a complex things. It's not only one solution, right? But usually the money is one of the things that people are the most attracted.
Money works till a certain level, and sometimes other indicators and other conditions can beat the financial part. Actually, you can observe that not only for aviation professionals, I would say in any industry. So if, of course, it's the values of the candidate himself or herself, it's as well plays a huge role. Basically, everyone has certain acceptance levels.
I think we all do. We always, when we are walking to the for new position, and somebody's asked me, so what is the salary you would like to have? We always have those numbers in the mind.
But also, what if you were asked, okay, would you like to live and work in a highly developed city with great infrastructure, some perks, free traveling if it's not your home country to home, traveling for your family, but you are earning slightly less than for a startup company that is not located in a major city, that doesn't have a well-developed allowance structure, doesn't have some free stuff, let's call it simple way. So what would be your preference?
I guess that it's very individual thing, but of course, those airlines and some positions who offers those benefits along the, let's say, a good salary, maybe not so high, but still a good salary, they have a more chance to grab a better professionals. And I think I would include even, some insurance things or help for the family or apartments or different things. And, because we talked about the money, and the money is always the most interesting thing for everybody. Maybe it's time to say more or less what is the average prices for those people who doesn't know in general, not the prices, sorry, the salaries in general in aviation. We will not talk about each position because there is so many of them, but let's figure out that the best salary at the moment in aviation belongs to whom? First officer, captain, I don't know, attendants. Can we share some kind of average salaries?
Average salaries, well, as you know, statistics are very, very vague it's a very vague thing. You can manipulate statistics if it's an average or median. Depends what result you want to have. So the average, also, what about the region? What about the region? So about the GDP, about the economics, all the affecting factors. So because the salary will be defined after all about on the lifestyle level, on the price level of that specific country, there will be the, of course, contributing factors for that. So replying
should I ask about specific region to understand more or less a better scope on, not the scope, but the average prices, or we can have this algorithm worldwide somehow to understand?
Well, you need to pull the data worldwide then and do the math. That's a simple way. But I don't believe it's informative enough, to be honest. Because again, in the same country, in one airline, there will be one salary level. In another one, there will be different salary level. Of course, we see the trends that, of course, with higher rankings, you expect higher salary. In the particular parts of the world, captain can surely earn $20,000 US per month fixed salary. In some countries, there will be only like $5,000 fixed for captains. So there is a quite widespread. Naturally, the higher the rank is, the more block hours you have. If you were speaking about the flight crew, then the highest the salary can be expected.
Same. Maybe I will just add a bit. You know that I was in AviaDev conference in Africa, and they said that Africa is the region which some airlines is maybe paying a bit less comparing to the Middle East or even Europe, and this is another problem that all the pilots and all the professionals in aviation knows that, and Africa lately in the last couple of years is losing so many good people who are very naturally looking for the better place, for the better salaries, and moving a bit to the Middle East or coming back to the Europe. So salary is still one of the most motivated things that each professional can have. But with the time, I guess, when you said the 20K, I was like, oh, okay. I'm still thinking that I chose not the right profession when I was young. But if you are 30, for example, and you're still thinking what to do, I think now is the best time to choose the place in aviation. In any kind of, starting from the captain, first officers, working in an airport, for example, or even trying to fix those big, beautiful metal birds who are flying above our heads. You know what I noticed during the time being in Aerviva as an agent, that there is still some myths about recruitment agencies, especially about us. For example, visiting the same Africa, I spent some time educating airlines and saying that, hey, we are agency who is coming to help you. This is the first thing. Can you bring some of the myths that you had in this industry for being here for so many years? And maybe this is the time when we can finally open all the cards and said that this is the myth, this is the myth.
There is a recurrent myth that recruiters charge the candidates rather than the clients. Well, this would be the feature of poor recruiter. It would be red flag, I would say. If you are encountering such recruiter, run away, because that's not the business relationship that should be established. So recruiters and recruitment companies do charge the clients, of course, rather than the professionals for the recruitment, because client comes, says, I need this and this professional. And then that's recruiter's job to find that person. Also, it's quite a myth that recruiters only care about finding the person and then hands off, we don't care about anything. We do care about that because that's a reputation thing. That's a reputation, and the candidate might come back to you again for another job. Not necessarily leaving that company, but life happens, just values change, and then they want to relocate maybe. So they want to work for another client. So we do care about the building strong relationship, not only with the corporate side of the relationship, but also with the personal side of the relationship with the candidate. Others, lately, I'm not that much encountering about the recruitment company. Maybe I would say a very common statement and question from the potential client. I think you encountered it a lot. So, how many profiles you can get me? They give you the basics, and then how many profiles you can get me? Well, I don't know how much I can get you the profiles, because I need to look into your profile, what reputation you have, how your brand is strong, what's the financial package. It's just everything that we talked today about. All this puzzle parts should come together, and then we will see how the pool of candidates is going to react. Do they like you? Do they dislike you? If they dislike you, why? We always check the why side to understand how to conquer it. So it's about both sides and finding the best fit.
I will add, dear airlines, I'm talking with you in person, usually with some of the people, and you know with whom I talked. I repeat one more time. We are here to help you. The first and the main thing is to help you to find a professional in these really challenging times in aviation, speaking about the people here. I think there is more myths about recruitment agencies in the world, and I collected some of them. What do you think? There is a myth that a recruitment agency usually offers only a contract or a low-paying job.
It might be the case that companies refer to the agencies when they need short-term project filling with the personnel, but nowadays there is a shift in that area, and many companies that are seeking a long-term employees are looking to the recruitment company help as well. So that's not the case anymore. I believe there was a case before, maybe several years ago, pre-COVID, probably. But now, because of this shortage and a lack of global outreach for the talent pool, they do seek support of recruitment companies as well. So you should not be you're refraining from a recruitment company just because you think there will be a low pay or short-term contract job. Mm-hmm. There is a variety of the jobs. You just need to check which suits you the best.
Another myth, which is again about money, that a recruitment agency inflate job descriptions or mislead about the pay.
Actually, there is no reason to do that, because after all, the financial conditions are mostly driven by the final client, the company where the person is going to be assigned to execute the duties. So let's ask simple question: why a recruiter would do that? It's actually in the interest of the recruiter to communicate transparent conditions, and as much as possible, again, like we spoke earlier today, the more information you give to the candidate, the higher chance he or she going to come to you and be onboarded later on, and for the long term, and not going to run away during the assessment or in first months of the assignment. So I would say, if there are very few conditions outlined, okay. If there is very simple terms and conditions, or there are some question marks to the recruiter why it is done like in this way, because confident and reputable recruiters would expose the conditions to the certain level, but not to that okay, there is just a job, come and apply. There should be a set of conditions set out, and there is no reason to inflate the financial package or deflate, for the simple reason, just like another myth interconnected with this one, candidate is not paying for the placement. So again, that's a separate financial topics of the financial side.
One of the requirements that we often see is that the pilot needs to have a certain amount of hours, of flying hours. So the myth would be, if I don't have 10,000 hours, recruiters won't help me, and I basically don't have any chance to apply for said job position. Is the recruitment agency can help somehow the candidate, and how?
If the person wants to apply for a specific job and is not qualified with the hours, yes, it's no point to apply, of course. But in general, recruitment agencies in particular do have access to partnerships with the training organizations, with the cadet programs of the airlines. So if you are a low-hour pilot, there is, of course, the place to research your opportunities with the recruitment agency, and they definitely can help you to find the opportunity to place you, to guide you where is the better fit for your particular case and profile and expectations and your current progress in aviation career.
From what I'm seeing, how our recruiters are working, I guess you already said that in the beginning, but we can say that when the pilot or another aviation professional comes to us, to Aerviva in general, he's never left alone. Like we are really taking care as much as possible of all the professionals who is working in our clients' companies.
That's true. And even if we don't have open placement right now available for the profile that would be matching the qualifications, we are constantly increasing our client database. So we do welcome our professionals that seek our help to register with us, so that we then seek our database first to mix and match the profiles with the current openings.
Conclusion, one of the myths which I heard as well, and of course then you're like trying to look how we are looking a bit differently, but the whole agency is the same on your experience, because for sure you know our competitors as well, you're in this market for a very long time, so is the whole agencies is the same?
Agencies differ in multiple ways. The involvement with the candidates, the scope of support that they're offering, the transparency that they're offering in their services, in job postings, the involvement in other areas of aviation and support in training, in career progress, in education even. So also it's important how you're educating your audience. So again, it's not looking narrowly only about here is the job, you fit, you don't fit, thank you, bye-bye. But it's about keeping communication, because should be a human touch as well. Of course, social media is important. So you keep that contact via those online ways, platforms, newsletters, and everything else. It's about having this contact. So we can simply look at those sides, how recruitment companies keep their branding, the contact, and the openness with the candidates as well as the clients. I'm not speaking about very technical stuff like the region coverage, knowledge of the legislation, licensing. Of course, the license validation is another big topic. A very good example is UK. Post-Brexit licensing validation became a bit of a challenge. So now there is an extra step if pilot with a European license wants to fly for the UK aircraft operator. So yeah, there is a technical side and CRM side of the recruitment company that should be looked into.
I think that even the year ago, or maybe a bit more, all the world just started to use a ChatGPT on the way. And we are some of the people were very scared and thinking that, okay, it will take our positions. We will have some problems. I'm talking, of course, not about the ChatGPT. I'm talking about AI in general. Do you see that it's coming to the recruitment as well somehow, or it could come and it's make our life easier? Because I see that some airports at the moment starting to use it on the borders, for example. It's literally makes some of the process much more easier. Do you have any idea how AI can help recruiters, airlines, and of course the candidates in the future?
AI tools are coming over in all our lives, of course, in various ways. In recruitment, we see that AI can be used to screen CVs. It can fast forward quite a huge chunk of job for the recruiter. So you just set the setting for the AI tool, what settings should be matched, and then the CV can be shortlisted or not. If we're speaking about more complicated and sophisticated softwares, those can be used in the future for the interviews to analyze the human behavior, see the ways the person is replying, and probably even look into some behavioral specifics of the person. And then we can even move a step forward to see if the behavior is matching the values and the understanding of the airline, what profile of the pilot or cabin crew or engineer fits the best their company. So AI is not taking over that much at the moment because still there is quite arrangements need to be done during the recruitment process, but some processes definitely can be streamlined. It will save the cost and time for client and the recruitment company, obviously. At a later, in the further years, I would say the AI tools will be implemented in even more sophisticated ways to analyze and to find that best fit of the profile, considering the soft skills.
I think that even in aviation, people are afraid as well that AI will change their positions. Philosophical question. Do you see the planes flying without the captains in the future?
No. That's like interconnected with the topic of single pilot cockpit. After all, different people have different risk aversion levels. Nonetheless, after all, who gonna be flying as passengers on those planes? Same human beings, and seeing the general feedback and response on social media on the single pilot cockpit, like, okay, introduce single pilot cockpit, but I will not sit on that plane if there will be one pilot on board.
If it's one pilot and one EI?
That's a tricky question. Don't give these ideas to
I think
EAS
those
and other
ideas already
regulators.
somewhere, in the air.
But I think single pilot, but that's part of the idea of having one pilot and the rest done by the systems, by the information technology, by the IT and AI.
At the same time, I think that AI is coming for engineering as well, and it might be really helpful for engineers who are working with the planes. And I'm pretty sure that they are using right now. But a good engineer will not lose his job because somebody will need to use even the same tool of AI in the future as well. So all the engineers who were scared a bit of the AI, I think it's not necessary to be in this position at the moment.
But that's why upskilling is a key for the engineering professionals to learn, to look into extra certificates, even if you think, okay, I know everything, but that everything is changing every day. So keeping your qualifications up to date is...
They need to be one step ahead of the AI.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And plus, we always think that the human touch in each job is crucial. So until the AI will learn to feel the emotions, we all have a chance. You wanted to ask me about something about my experience in the conference, right?
So you participated so far in quite a few of them. It's in African continent, Aviadev, and also Arabian travel market. So while networking with aviation professionals with different backgrounds from different continents and countries, did you notice any trending topics raised during these conferences?
I need to say two things what I noticed. Firstly, I noticed that everybody is buying planes, and a lot of them. And of course, we know that to buy a plane is not so easy. I mean, it's not like you're going to the shop and next day you have it next to your door. So the plan for the next 10 or 20 years in different companies is huge. That indicates that people more and more are traveling, and they will traveling, and all the companies are seeing this. So demand is growing. Then, of course, another thing is the shortage of the professionals. But the main topic, and it's a sad actually, is global conflicts basically, and how that changed the situation of aviation. Lately, when we had this problem, Israel and Iran, again, all the site around the Middle East, the sky was a bit closed, and we could see how the planes were trying to somehow reach one destination and another destination. It was crazy to see the map with all the planes. We saw how the flights were cancelled. I guess some of the airlines cancelled in the beginning of the summer, and they are not planning to bring those flights, even knowing that at the moment everything is fine in this region. There was 56 different global conflicts right now in the world, and that's not making life easier, because the demand from those regions where everything is at the peace at the moment, it's still huge. So I think that was the first time in Aviadev when I heard from airlines, how can we contribute for the peace in the world? And I know that I'm sound like a competitor in Miss Universe participation, right? The concourse, but this is the thing which I'm very happy that the airlines not only thinking about their own businesses, but they're really starting to think about global peace, because this is very understandable. If the sky will be opened, if the people can travel without any restrictions, everybody will be living much more better, and airlines will have an easier planning for the next 5 or 10 years, because it doesn't matter if you're buying so many planes at the moment, but you don't have a crew and there is no peace in the world.
We can see the rise of understanding corporate social responsibility,
for sure,
accountability, and taking into consideration all the stakeholders, not just looking into the profitability, but about the community they are in and how they can contribute for the sake of all involved
for sure
parts.
For sure. And another topic, of course, which was interesting as well, I brought the AI in general, because the plane still, it doesn't matter how new it is. Have you noticed that the plane in general is very classical thing. It was invented so many years ago and it improved with the time. But the changes in a plane come very slowly, and some of the planes which was invented 20 years ago, okay, maybe a bit less, but they're still flying and even more trustable than the new ones sometimes. But yeah, how to save money, how to make more efficient flights. Everybody is waiting for those super planes who are coming into the market and with whom you can fly from UK, for example, to Dubai faster, saving money on the fuels and other things. So it's really interesting to see new technologies. I was pleasant surprised being in Dubai conference and seeing those legendary drones who are now taking people from the airports to some stations in Dubai. And actually in Abu Dhabi they just tested the first flights, so it works. This is a good opportunity for us as well, I guess. Very fast we will be looking for the, with all respect, but basically the taxi drivers. Just the one difference that they're not driving the cars, they're flying with the small aircrafts. It's very exciting times from the technical side in aviation, but what I understanding, yeah, this shortage that we have at the moment, if nothing will be done very, very soon, we will have a lot of metal which will stay on the ground because there will be no people who can take care of them. Today we are in this podcast touching some topics about recruitment, about the airlines, about the pilots. I think in the future we will open the poll for questions, basically, and if somebody will have some specific questions, we'll be ready to answer on our third edition of the podcast.
I would say that everybody is more than welcome to comment the sensitive topics that they have, so that we catch those topics and cover in the future podcasts as well, and shape the overall communication.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for today.